Hello, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, and children of all ages. This is Jeffrey Daniel here again, coming to you from Abuja, Nigeria. Today is the 30th of March, 2021, according to the Gregorian calendar. Okay, it's 2021. All right. And apparently in America, today will be day 2 of the Derek Chauvin trial on the murder of George Floyd. We're not going to call this the George Floyd trial because George Floyd is not on trial. It is the former policeman who is charged with the murdering of George Floyd. Okay, and I don't want to really weigh in on that today because the news is there. I'm not a news reporter, so that's there. I don't want to really weigh in on that, and it's still ongoing. But before I get started, I just want to give my disclaimer. Anything I say, stand for, or am. It's not meant to be discriminative against any group of people, any race of people, or any individual. I am not a racist. I am not prejudiced. I could not spend a moment of my life being such a insidious person. So I'm coming to you guys with pure love and concern and knowledge, okay? Now, before I get started on this particular post, I must tell you all that we are addressing racism, full stop, okay? So I don't want to hear no whining about why do I have to talk about race, or why am I being divisive and pitching races against each other. As I told you before, we did not create racism. We are the victims of it. And we are reacting to its harmful effects that seem to have no end in sight. Okay? So, racism only produces two sides: the perpetrators and the victims. So, I will be addressing both the perpetrators and the victim of racism. So, if anyone who can't deal with this uncomfortable truth, please excuse yourselves now. And I'm sure there are more comfortable posts that can suit your sensitive palates. Now, once again, my perspicacity was ahead of the flock when I posted the racial revolution and guns video. Okay? Now, I turned on the TV last night and they're calling it the racial reckoning. Oh, do you think that there's a racial reckoning happening now? Yes, this is the racial reckoning. Wow. The media is calling it a race reckoning. Well, the name of this video, I titled this video, Racism's Byproduct of Greatness. That's what the title of this video is. Racism's Byproduct of Greatness, okay? Now, the media is calling it a race reckoning. Now, I'm tired of all these politically correct cushions they place on titles to help soften the potency of our movements or our issues. Every time we react to the consequences of their evil paradigm, they come along and create guidelines to keep us within the confinements of their paradigm. We are not reckoning with racism. We did that decades ago, if not centuries ago. This is now a full-fledged racial revolution that has been repeatedly postponed generation after generation. Now, I did something most of you don't do. I took the time and I looked up the word reckoning. And lo and behold, the definitions are: to settle accounts, to estimate, approximating, reasoning, to make a calculation. And listen to this definition: to accept something as certain. That's what reckoning is. To accept something as certain, to approximate, to estimate, to settle accounts. Okay? Now, let's look up the definition of revolution. Okay? It lists Latin for revolutio, which means to turn around, to revolve, like a revolving door, to revolve, to turn around. A fundamental and relatively sudden change in political power and political organization, which occurs when populations revolt against the government. typically due to oppression. So, now, what are you prepared to do? You want to go out and reckon with racism or revolt against it? See how they tag these little things with these cute little titles and a racial reckoning? No, we're not reckoning. This is a racial revolution, you guys. That's why you have people such as myself who take the time to do the research for you and bring it to you. And still, most of you are too busy watching senseless entertainment or gossip videos that don't enhance the quality of yours or your family members' lives, not one iota. But that's just human nature, I guess. So, but still, you want change. When you look back over the centuries-long system of racism, one cannot help but acknowledge the unintended byproduct of amazing accomplishments achieved by the tenacious and spirited people who were determined not to capitulate to the evil, wicked, and inhumane programs that were created specifically to keep people of color from progressing within the very system that these people of color were brought over to help build and sustain for a foreign people filled with hubris and disregard for human life. Now, I like to use words, that are like, they call them big words. I don't call them big words. I like to use words that help simplify things, So I just use the word hubris. Now, I don't know if you guys know the definition of the word hubris. I don't want to just throw words out there, but I want you guys to learn the words too and expand your vocabulary as well. I want you guys to look up the word hubris, 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 okay? So what I'm talking about are the people who brought us over for servitude. They were full of hubris and disregard for human life. When you guys look up the word hubris, you know what it means, okay? Just like I told you guys what solipsism means, or solipsistic was, regarding former President Trump, all right? Okay. Now, I want you guys, if you guys want to get something comfortable, if you want to get a drink, if you want to get a snack or something like that and sit back, because I'm going to take you guys on this little, excursion of facts, information, and what's going on, okay? So here we go, you guys. Ride with me. I'm here to ride with you. Ride with me, okay? I myself am inadvertently a byproduct of systematic racism. For if the American television broadcasting system had not been racist, it never would have necessitated the need for Don Cornelius to create the Soul Train television program, which invariably became one of the longest running TV programs in American history. Now, the primary impetus for conceiving the Soul Train TV show was that, until its introduction, in order for black entertainers to appear on the most major and nationally syndicated TV programs, which were owned and produced by whites, obviously, those black artists would have to already be at the top of the charts, dominated by white artists and white-run record labels. So there was the conundrum of how does a black artist get nationally television exposure if they haven't gained national popularity yet? Now, a few black artists did appear on these major white programs due to huge radio success or belonging to a white-owned record label that could use its influence to get the artists on the major entertainment shows. But lo and behold, here comes Soul Train. And now major and up-and-coming black recording artists are being seen on a national viewership level and being catapulted to the top of the American music charts. So, what was the American Music Association's response to that? They created a separate chart for black artists and a pop chart. Now black artists have to champion the black chart in order to spill over onto the pop charts. Now, I vividly remember those days. I remember you guys going, wow, Jody, Howard, look, we crossed over, you guys. We went pop. Yes, racism was even in the music industry. It's all down to economics, you guys. It's all down to economics. If not for racism, Berry Gordy would not have had to kickstart Hitsville USA, which became Motown Records, hailing some of the world's greatest names and musical successes in the global music industry till date. We're talking about the Temptations, the Supremes, the Four Tops, Smokey Robinson, Stevie Wonder, Marvin Gaye, Diana Ross, the DeBarges, Rick James, the Jackson 5, and Michael Jackson, just to name a few. All of this came from one company because they had the drive and the urge to get black music out there because the system was so unequal. But that gives us a drive, you guys. It drives us. It drives us. So now I want to talk about the unintended results of racism. These are the unintended results of racism. Yes, racism is a very nasty and pernicious at best. But the overwhelming response to the system of inequality and deprivation only spurred the world's greatest, most innovative and creative people to rise to the occasion and champion and persevere over and around this obstacle of economic and social exclusion. In other words, racism ultimately backfires on the perpetrators who went out of their way to plan and execute such machinations against other humans for their own selfish and greedy gains. In the end, racism never wins. It may cause delays, it may cause setbacks, it may even cost human lives along the way, but those are just temporary results that eventually become outweighed by much more overwhelming response. For those of us with a strong mental and spiritual constitution, racism just makes us stronger than we would have been if we were never faced with an obstacle to climb over in the first place. Now, I'm not thanking racism for bringing such an insurmountable amount of pain, suffering, and displacement to people, but I'm just noting that the unintended byproducts of racism that probably never would have culminated into the historical and epic successes that ultimately became. So, if we really look at it, racism, their system of racism, gave birth to Marcus Garvey, to Elijah Muhammad, to Martin Luther King, to Malcolm X, to Nelson Mandela, to Bob Marley, to Berry Gordy, to Don Cornelius, to Idi Amin, to Robert Mugabe, to Muhammad Ali. I mean, the names go on and on. If not for racism, we would not know these names. Some names we may have known from whatever political position, but their legacy would not have been so fortified if not for racism. This is the byproduct of racism, you guys. Racism, also immortalized such a name as Emmett Till, Rosa Parks, Rodney King, Ahmaud Arbery, George Floyd, Breonna Taylor, Tamir Rice, just to name a few. I mean, the list is so extensive, you guys. I couldn't sit here and just name all these people that have been immortalized because of racism. The world never would have known these names if not for racism. So this proves unequivocally that racism never wins, and it only delays the inevitable while strengthening its victims. So, now, I really don't mean to weigh in on the ongoing trial of the George Floyd case because it's still in progress, and I'm not a news reporter. But I will address one statement made by the former police Derek Chauvin, charged with the murder, his attorney, okay? Listen to this, okay, you guys? His attorney. And to be clear, this is not the George Floyd trial. This is the Derek Chauvin trial, the former policeman who's charged with murdering him. They keep trying to wait on George Floyd. George Floyd was the murder victim. It's Derek Chauvin that's on trial, okay? Anyway, this is what he said, you guys. This just stood out to me. And please listen carefully to this. Please listen. His attorney said that Derek Chauvin did what he was trained to do. Let me repeat that. His attorney stood in front of the jury, judge, and whoever was in attendance. And he stood there and said, Derek Chauvin did what he was trained to do by kneeling on George Floyd's neck for almost 10 minutes while George Floyd And the bystanders pleaded with him to stop killing the man until his life slipped out of his body. So, if this was truly the training of the police officer and acceptable by a court of law, then that means that any officer has the right to commit the same murderous act on any citizen as part of their training, and there should be no accountability. This is what he was trained to do. He actually stood there and said that. Wow. This is not, I'm not making this up. This is a quote from a legal attorney who knows the law. This man knows the law. He knows civil laws. He knows federal laws. He knows all these different type of laws, police laws. And this is what his attorney said in defense of Derek Chauvin. So, people, family, stop acting like this is a trial about law and order. This whole thing is about racism. Everything in America is about racism. And the sooner you realize this, the sooner we can start to address it and alleviate it from this damn planet. There are a lot of white people who are against racism, and I applaud them for standing for what's right. They were out in droves again yesterday in the streets of Minneapolis in support of George Floyd. If we're to completely end this system of racism, we need every able-bodied person to stand shoulder to shoulder with us. Asians, Latinos, whites, blacks, Arabs, Jews, Muslims, Christians, everybody. As I say in my song, Make Love Great Again, you guys need to tune into it. It's on YouTube, iTunes, Spotify, whatever. You guys, this should be our mantra, Make Love Great Again. I just want to read out some of the verses, a couple of lines in my song, Make Love Great Again. In case you guys heard it and didn't catch it, for those of you who haven't caught into it yet, just listen to what I'm saying. And I wrote this song last year. It says, now we have the answer blowing in the wind. This caravan of love is never going to end. We can still be friends and not see eye to eye, because I believe that we can make it if we try. If everyone is equal, show equality. Come on, racism only breeds catastrophe. There's only one earth and we're just residents. So for what it's worth, demand your president. Make love great again. Make love great again. We can all be great if love is great again. Everyone is great when love is great again. Come on, you guys. That's the answer. That's the answer. That should be our mantra. You guys need to get out there and make this song our mantra, okay? Because that's the answer. Love is the answer, you guys. As cliche as it sounds, as corny as it may seem, love is the answer. I want to go, you know what? One of the most contentious subjects to discuss is religion. Because people are so indoctrinated and inculcated into the dogmas and doctrines that religion binds us to. Now, I don't knock people. I don't want to knock you for being in your religion. If you're a Muslim, if you're Christian, Judea, whatever it is, because we innately feel a need to connect with our Creator and to connect with life and, our reasoning for being here. And this is the impetus of it. This is what we're all searching for. But one thing I want to say that I'm finding out about religion, and I hope you guys can understand this, and I know the people, especially the Christians and that, the people of the Abrahamic religions, because it goes against what you're being taught. I'm not saying there is no God. I would never say that. I am not an atheist. I just want us to recalibrate our perception of what they told us and what they're teaching us God is. An exterior entity that we're praying to, therefore waiting on, the results of the prayer. Christians are waiting for miracle breakthroughs. Christians are waiting for prayers to be answered while we're giving our energy to an exterior force. All I'm saying is that God consciousness that you're praying to, that you think is sitting in space, sitting there looking down and judging you, it's not out there. It's in here. It's within. That's where you find it. You're going to churches, you're going to synagogues, you're going to mosques, and you're looking for that God. You're looking to connect with it. It's here. It's within. If you guys can just get past that. Now think about this. If we had the perception that God is within us, that the God consciousness is within us, which makes us an extension of that God consciousness, would a human be able to stand on another human's neck for 10 minutes knowing that he's standing on an extension of God? When us brothers go out to the clubs, us men go out and we see our ladies and they're dressed up looking nice and stuff. When we look at these ladies, and if we knew that the God consciousness was in this lady, and we're looking at a presentation of God in human form, would we just be thinking about, yeah, I just want to sex that up. I want to get her to the hotel and sex that up. You see what I mean? We would be thinking, man, this is a beautiful representation of creation, humanity, of God consciousness. I need to treat this woman right. I need to do right by this woman. Think about it, you guys. Think about it. How humanity would be if we looked at each other through the filter of a God consciousness. Is that such a bad concept? Whether you feel it's right or wrong, but is it a bad? Therefore, when we are insulated into our religions, we're looking at humanity as that's them. This is me. Hey, I'm connected with my God. They're not observing the same connection I am, so they're not one of me. They're not in my sect. It's departmentalizing us. It's separating us. It's putting us in different compartments, you guys. Religion is dividing us. I'm not saying quit your religion, stop your religion. All I'm saying is let's view this the way that we used to view it before they came and manipulated it and turned it into something for the benefit of mankind. Do our children have to go to a mediator to get to us? And they're our children. So if the Creator created us, what mediator do we need to get to the Creator? Now, I know that's another subject. I know, wait a minute, don't you, no, not my sweet Jesus, or not my so-and-so, not my prophet, not my Savior. It's much more simpler than you guys imagine and than you think, than religious is telling us it is. And that's why they put that obstacle there in front of us to take us a couple of steps away from our divinity. That is our true source of divinity. I know this is hard for some of you guys to swallow because of decades and decades after what you're being trained to believe in, what you're being trained to think. But you guys just think about it. All I'm saying, I'm not discounting the God consciousness. I'm not discounting that at all. I'm not blaming it on the God consciousness. I'm not blaming it on your saviors that you believe in. I'm not blaming it. I'm just saying, let's recalibrate that, you guys. If Islam is your path to the source, fine. If Christianity is your path to the source, fine. If Judaism is your path to the source, Hinduism, Buddhism, if that's your path, because it's all to the same source, you guys. It's all to the same source. But let's recalibrate that and let's put that God consciousness where it is. It's in us. And I think we would treat each other better. I think we can all get along. I think we will all get along much more better. Treat the planet better. Treat nature better. Treat each other better. There wouldn't be child trafficking. There wouldn't be pedophilia. There wouldn't be rapes. There wouldn't be murders. Love is the answer. That's all I'm saying. Love is the answer. So the moral to this post, and I'm not going to keep this long, you guys, because I don't like to come back too soon, but things are happening so quickly now. These These events are escalating. So, and I know the Derek Chauvin trial is going on again today. It's going to be day 2 of it. But the moral of this post is, if we defeat racism, this evil cancer that's eating away at our societies, we will all be great. Not just a few of us, but all of us as the humans that we were intended to be. We will all be great if we get rid of racism, you guys. So I want to thank you guys for riding with me. I want to thank you guys. Please, you guys, give me your perspective. I notice on YouTube, a lot of people don't leave your feedback to me, but on Facebook, a lot of people leave their feedback. But go ahead and give me, you guys, your feedback. Come on, you guys, give me your feedback. I want to know what you guys think about what I'm saying, all right? And those of you who are giving me your feedback, you know I appreciate you very much. I answer to everybody. I'm supposed to be this international celebrity or whatever like that, but I don't just sit back and just collect hits and yeah. I respond to people. You guys know I respond to you. Even if it's a short response, even if it's an icon, if it's just a love token or something, whatever like that. But I do respond to you guys. You guys know that I do. We're still trying to get through this lockdown thing. We're still trying to come out of it. The vaccines are rolling out more and more and more. We're trying to balance how we're going to deal with this whole thing, you guys. Talk to your doctors. Talk to your specialists. Find out what's best for you, okay? Find out what's best for you, all right? So, you guys, let's follow and see what's going to happen with this Derek Chauvin case. Everyone's praying that justice will prevail, because if justice does not prevail, that's going to give these guys a green light to continue doing what they're doing. That's going to justify them to continue killing us on the streets. And you would have thought that after the George Floyd protest and the Breonna Taylor and the Ahmaud Arbery, not to forget the many in between, you would have thought that after all that recognition and attention drawn to it, that things would have gotten better. They're still killing unarmed people of color. And now the Asians have come out to protest. Now, that's why I said to you guys, this is a racial revolution, not a racial reckoning. We have already reckoned with racism. We've reckoned with that centuries ago, decades ago. We're not reckoning with it. This is a revolution. When I say revolution, I mean revolution. Revolution means change, to change the paradigm, to change the perspective. It doesn't mean grab guns and go out shooting and killing or go out and destroying things. That doesn't mean revolution. That's a violent revolution. Not all revolutions have to be violent, okay? This is a revolution of the heart, a revolution of the mind, a revolution of change. And we have to change it. This is our window of opportunity, you guys, to change this thing. All right? All right. I love you all. As I always say, spread the love. Make love great again, because we will all be great. Okay? Take care. Take care of your loved ones and your family. Thank you very much, you guys.